This is Dana with the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. I'm coming to you all today with another craft style vlog. I did not have a fancy intro this time because I have failed to capture like a little bit of footage of everything that has been going on. So if you are interested in seeing what I have going on, you will see from the title, this video is going to cover a couple of things like it normally does. I'm going to show you all what I'm working on as far as my current project. I don't have my current knitting project up here in my craft room because it's in my room, so you won't see that, not today. But I'm going to show you the sewing project that I'm doing like as an in-between project. I'm going to show you some new fabric that I purchased for a baby blanket request. I'm going to do answer a reader question about life, family, balance, or I'm going to give it a good stab. So if you're interested in seeing all of that in one video, then go grab your project, press pause, and then come back. If not, I will see you all on the next video. For everybody else, you know how we do it. Let's get it cracking. Sit back and get ready to just have a girl chat video. Let's get this party started. Kind of feel like Pink, but not really. Let's go. See you in a bit. Okay, this is Dana with the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. This video is going to be loaded because I have not had a lot of time to record. You all know it's summertime, things are busy. I'm sure you all are busy. So before I start running my mouth super fast, how is your summer going? Tell me in the comment section, like, what are you doing? Are you just doing projects? Are you traveling? Are you enjoying yourself? Is it like super duper hot where you are? Because it is so hot in Houston. It is like melting hot in Houston. So tell me in the comment section. I want to first of all welcome all of my subbies. We are like nearing the 3,000 mark. Can you all believe it? Can you believe it? Now, if you're watching this video right now, your girl about to hook you up. So let me tell you something. I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon. Yes, I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon. I don't know why my brows look brown in this light, but y'all going to have to just... So I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon for the 3,000 mark for my subscribers. I cannot thank you all enough. Don't forget to share my videos with other people. I don't know how you would share a video and say, like, watch this 30-minute long video. I don't know. Tell me how it goes. But I want to thank you all. I truly appreciate it. I'm like pumped up right now. Like I just came from the gym not that long ago. And so, yeah, y'all getting the residual of that gym life. Okay. But I'm warning you all. Okay, listen. Because you're watching this video and I appreciate you so much, my giveaway is not going to be marked as a giveaway. So I'm warning you, okay? I'm warning you. And it's going to have 3 parts. I'm going to do a knitting. No, I may not do a difference between the knitting and the crochet. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure that out because I want to, have something like I did last time where it was like a knit, a crochet, and then I'm going to do something for sewing. So it'll be like, it won't be like huge because y'all know I don't have sponsors or anything like that. It's coming out of my pocket. So my husband is the sponsor. But I want to do something for you all for just being rock stars and like hanging with me and helping me out when I need it and being there hopefully for each other in the comment section if you need to be. But also just, some good old summertime fun. So look out for that. And I don't know how else to tell you to look out for it because I'm not going to warn you. You're just going to have to watch my videos. Yes, I'm going to do that. And here's why. And then we're going to get to the real meat of this video. I do the drawing randomly. And so I don't pick who will get, I select it, but I do it with a random selector. So I'll do that by video. But here's the reason why I want to do it this way. I want it to be hidden in one of my videos so that people that actually watch my videos are the people that will go in and be able to enter the drawing. I don't need a million people entering to win a giveaway. I just want it to be somebody that actually watches my videos. And so this is for y'all. It's, you know what I mean? Because if it's randomly somebody that just came because you said, oh, giveaway, well then that's like, y'all get me. Do you get me? Please tell me you get me. Okay. So now that it's not a warning. I have, I guess it's a warning. I've given you a heads up. That's what I've done. I've given you a heads up. So now you know. So that is the first thing. So, and that wasn't even on my list. I wasn't planning to. It's the fact that I'm just like pumped up from coming from the gym. So, I hope you're going well. This is ridiculous because I probably should have sat down somewhere before I recorded. But this wouldn't have happened. So I'm going to show you my fabric. Actually, no, I'm going to show you my project. I got all my stuff set up. So I hope you are well as I look for, where did it go? I had it set up and then I moved it. Oh, here it is. I hope everything is going well. We have been traveling and everything. So that has been pretty cool. Like we normally do. We just not too long ago got back from the orientation for our oldest for college, and that was surreal and exciting and all of that. Like to know this, he's about to start this whole new life, and that's pretty cool. So the project that I'm working on is a sewing project, and I'm going to just show you the picture, and then I'll show you because it's not done. But here it is. I found this pattern. I didn't do it in a haul. I know I didn't because I don't remember showing it. I found it on sale at Hancock Fabrics one day. We went to go eat somewhere and it was a couple of doors down. So I was just walking around while the kids were playing games. Like it was like a video game pizza place. And it was on sale for, I think it was like $6. And so here it is. And the really cool thing about it is it came with the pattern. It came with the fabric. So all I had to do was buy the fusible fleece that needed to go with it and your normal things like thread and all that other stuff. But for $7, and I calculated it. I don't have it on here. There was like 3/4 of a yard of one fabric and two other fabrics that there was a half a yard. So $7, I think it was like $6 and some change, and after tax it was like $7. So it has been going well. Now what I can tell you right now, and I'm going to show you where I am in the project. Here's my front panel. What I can tell you is I like it so far. I don't think I would use this pattern again, and I'm going to tell you why. It had too many pieces. And the funny thing, it was only technically like 4 pieces, but you cut a lot of the same 4, and some of them were doubled up. But all them pieces, I'm not even about that life. And I know, even though with quilting you have a lot of pieces, but it's just like straight stitching. All of it was, basically. I'll show y'all when the purse is done. I'm hoping that I like it because I put a lot of time, and I caught myself doing this real quick in between quilts. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on. I'm also working on a knit project, which is downstairs. And I think I showed you all in my last vlog. I've been working on that while we've been on the road, and I've transitioned from one color to another color. I will probably definitely bring that back another time because I'm going to be working on that one for a while. So it's a scarf, and I'm working on that. I also finished and mailed out my first quilts, my first full, like completed quilt and pieced because I did the quillo, I did the table topper, I've done all of those, but this was the first one where taking the suggestion of one of my subbies a long time ago when I was frustrated, and she was like, well, why don't you just create your own? And I didn't think I knew enough to create my own, but I think I know a little something. I took a video pattern and I adapted it for what I wanted to do. I think when you see it, it will definitely read like Dana made this because it's similar to what I've done for crochet projects and knit projects, but it's quilted and I love it. And I can't show you any pictures yet, but I do have video footage. I do have pictures that I'm going to compile and come back and talk about it, but I want to wait until the recipient receives it because I don't want it to spill anywhere. Like I haven't even showed it on like any of my social media channels, and some of the people in the quilt club received a sneak peek of it, but I haven't showed anybody the final project, and I can't wait to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I want to save it all for that video, but just like thrilled. So that is out. Next, I'm going to show you some fabric. I've already been asked to make another baby quilt. And what I've been doing, I don't think I told you all this, but my philosophy when you're learning how to do a lot of things is that I want to be able to learn and learn with something that's functional that can be used. I don't like wasting things, and that has probably been the hardest thing about quilting to me. I don't like wasting fabric. I don't like wasting, like I know you have to learn with pieces, but let's say you make a quilt sandwich to practice free motion quilting. I want to use it whether it's ugly or not in something, because to me that's a waste. Like it's a waste of money. I know it's not a waste of time because you're learning, but you still have to buy the fabric. Like fabric is not cheap. Even with coupons, fabric is not cheap. And cheap fabric is not the same as good fabric because, baby, I've learned that lesson. And it is a lesson that I do not ever, ever, ever plan on repeating, okay? Cheap fabric is not the business. As you can see, we've had a moment together. But so I like to learn, but at the same time that it's functional, that you can do something with it. So for example, when you learn to crochet or you learn to knit, people like to do like little dollies or not dollies, like coasters or something like that. That's great, but use the coaster, right? So that's why you probably wouldn't ever see me do coasters. We've made a couple around the house, and we have some that are so old and we still use them. But I hardly ever do coasters because we don't really, the ones that we have are functioning. We don't need more. So usually you'll see me do a cowl or a scarf or those type of things so that I'm learning a new stitch pattern, but I'm at the same time able to use what I make. Whether I give it to charity, whether I use it for myself, it doesn't matter. Or you can do different blocks and then sew them together to do something, as some sort of scrap piece or something, which is why I love making scrap projects, because if it's long enough for me to tie in a double knot, I'm using it. I'm going to use it because I don't like the waste. So the point is, with my quilt making, I'm hoping to be able to, whether it's make baby quilts or lap. I haven't done any lap ones. That literally was my first one, and I have another request for another baby one. So that what I've been doing is, I guess, testing out my ability to design stuff or mix designs that I like to something that's in my head. Like if you all are interested in kind of like how I don't think of myself as a designer, but how I come up with ideas for new projects, then let me know, and I'll do a whole video on it because I think I'm sure it's what other people do, but you never know. So the point is, that's what I'm doing with baby quilts. I'm using those as an opportunity to try new techniques to, whether it's from all aspects, whether it's cutting, if it's different blocks. The past one, like I did applique, I fussy cut. I worked on for myself being able to cut through several layers of fabric, which is something, that it just doing, instead of doing pre-cuts, I did the quote unquote pre-cut to myself. So that was something else that I had to figure out whether I liked or not. And so all of that is to say, that's what I'm hoping to do with baby quilts, is to kind of work on some of my skills, or to even, for the last one, I'm using it to test a pattern that I want to do for a full size quilt for my daughter. And so that little one, I was able to work out a lot of learning, and I'm going to, after I do this baby quilt, start on hers, which is going to be a big project. And my goal is to film it while I go through the process. And so, yeah, that's how that goes. So the fabric that I purchased, I went to Joann's and picking fabric. Lord, picking fabric. And my daughter is away. She usually helps me. It takes me so long. Anyways, so for this baby quilt, it's for a little boy. Here are the fabrics that I picked. Y'all gonna be like, she talks forever. Here's one. So to help me with my comfort, to find some sort of comfort zone in this whole picking fabrics bit, for the baby ones, my plan, and I may not do it every time, but so far, I pick one focal fabric and I try to pick everything else to go around that focal fabric. So remember when I showed you all the animals fabric? Well, I picked all the other colors to go with the animal fabric. So this one, since it's for a little boy, it has all these like little trucks and cars, and it has all this little stuff. It says cuddle, beep, stop, cute, dig, adorable, all this other little stuff on it. And so this is the focal. To go with it, I picked this yellow, this blue with little stars, and then I have this darker blue. So, and another thing is the person, she wanted to make sure that there was some blue in it. So these two blues are kind of satisfying what she asked for. And the great thing about her is I can do anything else that I want to do with it, which is why I can try out other things. So these two blues, this yellow, which I wanted for a pop, and then this. You can't see them. Oh, there it goes. And the final color is this. What do you think? I think they look pretty good together. So this is the final one. This is going to be the backing, and I'm going to use just a little bit of it on the front as well. I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to do that. To me, it just makes it all come together. At least, I don't know. That's the plan, and that's my hope. So these are the fabrics, because this is a craft vlog that I'm going to be working on actually cutting once I turn off the camera. So that's that. Tell me what you think of those colors. And if you have any tips on selecting, let me know. Crafty Gemini for the Quilt Club did a great video on matching colors. And I do use that when I'm actually deciding what colors go next to each other in my actual project. And it has been helpful when I go into the fabric store. But so yeah, that's that. Another thing, which I forgot I was going to tell you, is about this is like a super long vlog. I hope you all went and got your projects, because I did not plan to go over all this. So, a lot of the quilt shops, many quilt shops around the country, in the United States and in Canada, are doing this row by row experience. And what that means is that each quilt shop, I'm going to tell you what I understand about it. I'm not certain. I'm just what I think they're doing. It's a row by row experience, and each quilt shop can choose to design a row quilt based on a theme. And every quilt shop has their own little row by row pattern. They can just give you the free pattern, and many of them will have kits. Another thing that they can choose to do is to make a fabric license plates. And the fabric license plates will have like your state, and each quilt shop may have a different little saying or different design or whatever to go with the process. And so therefore, I think they're doing like a big drawing. Like if you do, I think at least 8 rows, then you can be entered in a drawing to win fabric. But I'm not planning to do that. I just wanted the license plates, and you'll see why. Because you can get them from different states, and each quilt shop, I believe they all have a different one. I don't know how you could possibly do it because there's so many of them. But if you want to know more information, let me know. I'll try to find they have a website where it shows all of the shops that are participating, and you can look by state. So anyways, so far I have 2. I have another 6 that are on their way to me. I found some other quilters that wanted Texas plates, and they are swapping me for their state or some others that they have. So I have like one coming for Canada, I have for Missouri, for Florida, for Illinois, for Oklahoma, and there's another one and I can't think of it. And so I sent them out Texas plates, and they're sending me plates for those. So here are the 2 Texas plates that I have. And I'm going to visit 2 more quilt shops in my area because I'm hoping to get a couple of more Texas ones. This is the first one, Quiltologist. And so it'll have the state. It'll have whatever little saying. And then it will have the quilt shop's name and the location. So it was in Webster, Texas. And this one, what are you quilting? Can I just tell you, some of these, when you read them, I have to read them like several times before I get what they're trying to say. And I think the reason why they say water, like for what are you, but for reason why they say water, because the theme this year is water. So all of the rows across the country are designed to bring in some sort of theme of water. So this is the other one. And these 2 came from the same quilt shop. So that's that. Are you doing the row by row experience? If so, let me know. And is there anyone out there that is interested in doing a swap? I don't have like $1 million, and I don't want to go out there and like be spending $1 million for them. But I have an idea of what I want to do with them. So if there's somebody that is interested, like I guess you could go to my website, essenceofme.com, and send me a message and let me know. So, man, it's time. So that I said in this video that I was going to do a reader's question of life and family balance. I'm going to put that in right now. I was thinking, like, do I really want to do that at the end of this video? Y'all know I do long videos, so I'm going to just keep going. Okay, I'm going to read the question and I will put it up. Love the vlog-like videos, by the way. Right now, I am working on the mystery shawl knit along thunderstorm. I need to check that out. So, yes. Let me back up and then I'll finish reading. This came off of when I did the first vlog video where I asked if anyone had questions, and this came in the comments, and I asked the question of what is your biggest block list keeping you from getting to where you want to be in life? And so this was one of the questions. So I will continue. The biggest block that is stopping me from fulfilling my goals is the beauty of balance. I have 2 small children, and I'm in school, and I work and run my own garment sewing business. It's a lot, and I just can't balance it sometimes. To be honest, I don't know the why. The only thing I can think about is my babies. But sometimes as a mother, you focus so much on home and drop your spiritual focus. So I guess that's my question for you. How do you balance your spiritual life and your family life? It's from Lady Nita. I like that. First of all, spiritual life balance. The truth is, we put that to the end most of the time when we should put it in front, okay? And here's why I say that. It has happened to me over and over and over and over again that when I make room at the beginning of my day, whether it's to read my Bible, to pray, to have quiet time, my day always expands. And the way that I always tell myself that God makes room in my life when I make room for Him. And not only does He make room for it, but it just makes you feel like you come from a place of being peaceful, you're quiet, you're still, and it gives you direction as to what you want to do next in your day. So in the morning, for example, social media, daggone social media. Yes, it does get in the day and it shouldn't in the morning, but it does sometimes. I'm just keeping it real. But I get up, I read my Bible. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little. Right now, it's a little bit more than normal because of the Bible in 90 days. Or like if I have a speaking engagement and I am going over a particular passage, I will typically read that passage almost every day leading up to the speaking engagement. And I just came off of that time last week. And so I read, I pray, and then usually if I can, I try to get my activity in like not too far after that. So usually by the time my day gets fully rolling, I've gotten like all of my major must-dos done. So how do you do that? When you have a little one, you have a job, you have a business. The reality is you have got to make time for it. Lady Nita, I love that name. You have got to make time for it because here's the thing. The cost of not doing it is too great. It's too great. Think about it. When you don't make time to slow down, whether it's to pray, to study, to read the word, what happens is you are nuts. Like you're going nonstop. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you came from. You're stressed out. You're yelling at the babies. You're yelling at the hubby. Like it doesn't work well for you. So the cost of not doing it is too great. And the other part about that is sometimes we think we've got to give this big, huge chunk. Like I'm telling you the things that I do in the morning, and that takes a lot of time, but that's because I have the time. Right? But for you, even if it's 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, give yourself that. And if your schedule is really crazy, start off with 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And when you do that 5 minutes, see how much room your day expands because you gave yourself that 5 minutes. That is how you get the balance. Because if you're doing it for your babies will be that much more benefited because you are calm. You are at a peaceful place. You have direction. You have your health. They're going to get a better mom because you give yourself the time to do that. Does it make it easy? No, especially when you have super little ones. I mean, my kids, the ones I gave birth to, are 20 months apart. I remember a time when I was nursing and potty training. Like I know what like that grind was like. And we had our own business. I worked outside of the home, and then eventually I came to work from inside our home, and that made it a little bit better, but it made it harder because my work, my family, my free time, all those things were held under one roof. And so I had to get really, really intentional. And I get it right. Sometimes I get it really wrong other times, but I'm going to keep striving until I reach my own type of balance. Okay. So the first thing is that you've got to make time for it. Start off with 5 minutes. The second thing is that I kind of hate to say this as number 2, but there is no such thing as balance. Like that little justice scale that we are having issues with in our country right now, but I'm not going to talk about that. This is about fun stuff. That scale does not exist. At any given point in time of your life, something is going to take up more room than other things. The point is that when you look at your life over time, that there is some sense of balance. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that when your kids are little, the reality is they need more mommy than they will when the age of my kids. I can say, hey, we're going to leave the house In 10 minutes, they know how to get themselves dressed. They know how to get ready. They meet me in the car. Boom, we're out. When they were little, I had to grab a diaper bag. I had to pack snacks. I had to make sure they went to the bathroom, like all these things. And so different times of your life dictate that some things are going to take a little bit more of your time. The key when they take up more of your time is to not to neglect yourself. And that was one of my biggest hurdles and downfalls, and when my health suffered the most because I was so busy being a good, quote unquote, good mom and a good wife that I was nowhere on that list. And I looked up, I was over 200 pounds. My health was awful. I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like the way life was going, but I was a good mom. I was a good wife. But the truth is, the real truth is that I thought I was being a good mom and a good wife, but I wasn't if I wasn't whole. What can you give if you're not whole? Nothing. You give fractions. Fractions of yourself to this and this and that. And all of it becomes this blur. So the first thing is to find some time, even if you start off with 5 minutes. The second thing is to, Lord, I can't even remember what I said the second thing because this is just my life, as you can see. The second thing is that there's really no real balance. What you do know is that some things may take up more time than others, but over time you just want it to balance out. And lastly, even if you don't know your why, which we've talked about before, the last thing that I would say is that in everything that you do, find time for you. You have to. You have to. If your health is failing, it's no good to anybody involved in your life. I don't care if you don't have kids. That could be to your spouse. It could be to your family. There's people that love you, that need you around to be your best you. You can't if you're not on your list. You can't. If it's your spiritual balance, our relationship and our walk with Christ is a relationship. Think about it. Any of the relationships that you value, how much time did you invest in those? And the ones that you said you valued and you did not give time to them, how did it end up? It's the same thing. And so you've got to put time and effort into it. Is 5 minutes enough time to give you the balance and the peace that you need for the rest of your life? Probably not. But I think that if you start off with that 5 minutes, which was number one, that eventually you will see that it will pay dividends and you're going to put more value on that 5 minutes and then that 7 minutes and that 10 minutes. So those are the three things. Now, the practicalness of it, other than that first one, the 5 minutes like you got to. So pick the number of minutes that you're going to do and pick a length of time that you're going to give this a try. People say 21 days is the best way, 30, 90. I would say start off with a week of every day for 5 minutes, getting up, and then have a plan. What are you going to do? I'm going to wake up 5 minutes early. I'm going to pray. I'm going to wake up 5 minutes early and I'm going to journal. And when you do that, in your plan, you need to have a time that you're going to do it. So if I say I'm going to do it at 5 o'clock, don't get up at 5 o'clock to do your 5 minutes. Get up a few minutes early. You're going to go to the bathroom. You're going to need to drink water, right? Or you're going to need to get your cup of coffee to sit down for your 5 minutes. So that 5 minutes is that 5 minutes. I'm saying 5 minutes. It's whatever number of minutes that you can do, okay? And so have a plan. What time you're going to get up? Where are you going to do it at? What's the amount of time that you're going to do it? And that's going to help you to be successful in the duration of how long you're going to do it. Start off with a week. I say at least a week because the reality is nothing is going to really change in a week. But sometimes in a week, that's enough to know that maybe you've got to change your time. Maybe you start off doing it in the evening because that's when you put the kids to bed. But you realize, oh, I'm so exhausted in the evening that I'll fall asleep. I need to move it to the morning. And I think a week is enough time to see with your schedule how you can do that to make that adjustment. Okay? So that's the practical thing. There's so much more that I can say on it. If you want me to expand, let me know in the comment section as well, and I will. This video has already been super long. Thank you all for your time, for subscribing to this channel. I hope that this was helpful. Lady Nita, let me know. If you have any questions that you would like for me to address in our crafting videos, in the vlogs, let me know, because it just makes it easier. I didn't know I was going to have all this other stuff with it. If we get a lot of questions, then I'm going to just have like a Q&A segment, and so it won't be attached, and that will make my videos not so long. Thank you. Look out for the giveaway. I've got a lot of footage that I need to edit. Haven't decided how I'm going to do it, like the quilt and all this other stuff that I've been working on. And so, yeah, that's it for today. I hope that you all have a fantastic week, and that I will see you all hopefully sooner than later. Take care, and goodbye.